Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading. This is your ridiculous questions answered reading. We're going to ask only ridiculous questions. So the first question is, what can you do? What is the fastest way for you to get rich right now, Libra? And you have this legacy card. It says your work will be passed down to future generations. Harvest gifts of your ancestors. These are also your gifts. You also have this change card. It says there's a change for the better coming your way. So some of you, I feel this could be kind of like a gift that has been passed down, but I really do feel that the whole building a legacy thing pretty much comes up for everyone in all the readings. I think that it's because of the energy that is in Taurus right now. We have it's all everything's moving out of Taurus, but we did have a bunch of energy in Taurus. We still have Uranus in Taurus, so this Taurus energy really kind of, I think, makes people have a very strong desire for security and creating, even financial security. So for a lot of you, it could be that. There could also be something kind of like tied to your intuition here, where you're like using your intuition more for your career or for business or whatever it is that you do to make money. That card says use the gifts of your ancestors. So these could be like intuitive gifts. And you also start with the moon. So the moon can be a very intuitive card. It can represent using your intuition. It can also represent making sure to use your emotions as well and to follow your emotions. I kind of feel that here. There's this lobster right here, and the lobster on the moon card is stepping out onto the land. But lobsters can't do very well on the land. They have this armor on basically, and the lobster on the moon card represents your emotional armor and needing to release your emotional armor. But there is something popping into my head about your emotions and kind of like how your emotions are guiding you towards something that you actually want to be doing. The other interesting thing is that change card says there's a change for the better coming your way. I do feel a lot of you could be changing jobs, or you could be changing the job that you have right now, and you could be moving into something new or different. It's almost like it's kind of like this part of the reading is saying to me, there is something better for you, but I feel like you have to almost go and look for it. Usually with the moon, we don't really see that there is something better, although I don't really feel that for you. It's almost like, I feel like some of you know that there's something better, and I feel I'm only talking to those of you that really don't like your job. So if you really don't like your job right now, I feel like this message is for you. I feel that there is something that maybe you don't quite see yet, or you kind of like know that there's something better, and that could be, there could be a change there. You also have the Magician. I want to show you something though. The Magician is pointing down to this porcupine spirit, and the porcupine spirit says it's time for beginner mind. So for you to get rich the fastest way possible, I think that, learning new things would be a good idea for you. I would also say that I think, learning the things that you didn't learn growing up, it's like maybe, I just said to someone else, and I think it's true for everyone, that we all have, certain like financial things that we learn from our parents and even our grandparents, right? And things like that. And so I feel like this is saying that, regardless of what your parents' financial situation is, I feel this is saying that you have to learn and also maybe unlearn certain habits that have gotten in the way of your finances or have prevented you from kind of like making more money, right? So I think that is something that, is kind of like popping up here. I also feel like this isn't going to necessarily sound sexy, but because everybody wants to get rich quick, right? And it just doesn't work like that. But what I would say is that I almost feel that there is like there are certain steps that you're going to have to follow. The Magician, he has everything he needs in front of him. He has mastery over all the suits in the tarot. So he has, the cups, the swords, the pentacles, the wands right in front of him. It's like he has all the tools necessary. He just needs to, pick up his tools and kind of like get to work. So it's almost like you have a lot of skills already, or you already know what to do that could lead to, a brighter financial future. And I feel like the Magician is really kind of about just getting to work on what you already know how to do. And I also feel like there's something here about kind of like, picking a skill in learning it in and out and sideways and backwards, right? And so that you really understand something on a very deep level. And I think that having a deep understanding of like a subject, but I'm talking about something that could make you money. Having a deep understanding is what the magician is talking about. Almost having like surgical, precision in the way that you do whatever it is you do to make money. And I literally feel it could make you a lot more money. You have the strength card. The strength card is about patience and having strength. And again, I feel like you've learned a lot of lessons, which we kind of talked about with that porcupine spirit. I feel like that card is saying that you've learned a lot of lessons in regards to your finances. And the strength card is something that she has to do every day. So again, I feel like as far as like the fastest way for you to get rich, it might be a little bit slow. And that doesn't mean it's going to take years and years and years. But I think it's more of a process that you are learning, or, the strength card is she has to be strong every single day. She has to get, this lion is submitting to her, and it kind of represents her inner voice, her inner demons, her inner critic, and she is getting it to submit to her. She is, she's the boss in this relationship right here. So I feel for a lot of you that, again, there could be something like a skill that you're developing or something that could make you a lot of money, but it is going to be something that you do like consistently. And we're not talking about like some sort of grind here or, struggling or anything like that. It's just, something that you have to continue to improve upon or whatever. I would also say that, again, this could represent your beliefs. So it might be a really good time for you to kind of like work on your money blocks, your money beliefs, things like that. We already kind of said that. With the moon, you have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is about, especially on a question like this, it would be about breaking free from convention. The King of Pentacles is like good financial security, but sure, you could say he's wealthy, but really he's kind of just stable. And, to get wealthy, he has to maybe break free from what he has always known. He kind of is a card of doing things the same way. He always does what works. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I think that for the most part, if people did more of what worked, then things would work. But, he kind of maybe has been doing what works for the past 20 years, and he hasn't been upgrading his skills. So I feel like for you, Libra, it would be a great time for you to like upgrade your skills or learn new skills or learn new ways of doing what you do. With the Magician, new. You have the Page of Cups, something new. The Page of Cups is about working towards a dream as well. The Page of Cups normally has that fish in his cup, and that fish represents his dream. So it might be a good time to work on, some sort of dream. And with the Strength card, you have the Three of Swords. See, I think this is about cutting out bad, anything toxic in your life as well, especially with that Strength card. The Strength card, like I said, she is taking control, and she is getting those beliefs to submit to her. So really, I would say, there's a lot of information here in this first row, but it's really talking about your beliefs about money and like your beliefs about whether or not you can make money doing certain things, right? And I also feel like there are money blocks to overcome here. So I feel if you work on those things, you could have a positive financial change with that change card. Next, in the area of what are we doing? What are the animals really saying to you here, Libra? You have this sea serpent card and this unicorn. I feel like the sea serpent kind of represents being very close to accomplishing something or being very close to completing a cycle in your life. And so I feel that for a lot of you. It's also the Ouroboros, like the snake eating its own tail. The Magician also has the Ouroboros on his waist, wrapped around his waist. And so the Ouroboros can represent reinvention. And it kind of looks like to me that you are going through this reinvention period. You have that. You also have this card that says a rebirth is assured. You also have the World card as well. So these are all cards of kind of like a rebirth or experiencing a rebirth. The World, you could argue she is being birthed into a new world. So the World is the last card in the major arcana, and she's going from the World, and then we kind of like start all over again as the Fool. In the major arcana, we go from the Fool to the World, and we start all over again. And I feel like for a lot of you that this is talking about kind of like a positive new beginning. The unicorn, I feel like, is saying like set your sights high or something like that. You have this. I'll say this as well. I feel like it's tied to this card right here, this dolphin spirit. The dolphin spirit says this and that are true. So it says basically whatever you believe is true is true. And we're talking about beliefs with the strength card here as well. So I feel that you're entering into this new time here, Libra, where we see a lot of change cards. You even start with the change card, and I feel that this is saying that you should set your sights high and believe that you're capable of accomplishing much more than you think. I think that whatever this card, like I said, says, every whatever you believe to be true is true. So I think that you need to kind of like, understand that. It's kind of weird. I was watching a debate with a person who believes that the earth is flat and a person who obviously knows that the earth is round, right? And it's like there was nothing that guy could say to get the flat earther to believe that the earth is round, even though it's very obvious, right? For most people. I'm sure that one of them is going to leave a comment on this video now, which is kind of the goal of me saying that, right? So I love pissing off the flat earthers because they leave tons of comments, which boosts my videos. So shout out to the flat earthers, right? But there's nothing he could say to get that person to believe that the earth is round, even though it's very obvious, very simple experiments, right? And so it's like, that's what this is saying. It's like saying when you believe something so deeply that it's true, then it's true for you, except if you believe the earth is flat. That's not going to happen. But, if you want something, I feel like you really need to believe it. You have this bat. It says a rebirth is assured. You are clearly undergoing some sort of rebirth or some sort of change in your life. And, I think that's what this whole entire reading is talking about, a change. The other thing is that you show up right next to this card right here with the Justice card. So it kind of suggests that you are the one that is going through this rebirth or this change in your life. You also have this porcupine spirit. The porcupine says, time for a beginner mind. So I feel it is time for you to start looking into new ways of doing things, especially with that King of Pentacles. I always say like 80% of the time we should do what works, and like 20% of the time we should be experimenting with new ideas and new things. So there's no reason to stop doing, what works in work or business or love or whatever. I think that the King of Pentacles is more about not falling into some sort of routine that you're going to get bored with, right? It's more about evolving, growing, and all those other things. And I feel like that's what the porcupine is saying. I also feel like the porcupine, like its quills are to the past. Well, on the table, they're going in the past direction. And so I feel like it's kind of saying that there's nothing more for you to learn from the past. Like maybe you've been processing, a breakup or information. I get that feeling for some of you that you've been kind of like going over something. And I feel the porcupine is saying like, okay, now it's time to, learn new things. With the dolphin spirit, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is great for work and finances. Kind of says that you're working hard right now. And it also is kind of my card of material success on the horizon. And I do feel that for you. To me, it's a card of kind of getting paid for work that you've done in the past. The interesting thing is, I'm pretty sure, by the way, in this deck here, the Tea Leaf Oracle, that there's a dolphin in there, and I'm pretty sure that the dolphin card says, something about getting paid for your work that you've already done, or done financial rewards for work you've done in the past or something. So that's popping into my head. I feel like some of you could be getting financial rewards from the past. With the Rebirth card, you have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is about trusting or listening to your intuition. I do feel like your intuition is trying to tell you something right now. We said that at the beginning of the reading, especially in regards to how you can get rich the fastest, right? But I feel like this is in all areas of your life. Like you could be in a period of time where you are really developing your intuition, or you're really learning to trust your intuition, and you could be getting a lot of benefits from that. So, again, if you do something, intuitively, or if you work intuitively, there could be a lot of success in that for you. With the porcupine spirit, you have the Temperance card. Temperance is kind of like a card of transformation as well. We see a ton of transformation cards in this reading now. You could even argue that you have the Eight of Cups here. You could even argue that the Eight of Cups is kind of like a transformation. He's walking away from something that no longer serves him, and he's walking towards who the hell knows what, but he's walking towards hopefully something that's new and better. And so I feel for a lot of you that, this is just more of that kind of like deep transformative energy. Next, we are going to look at what unusual skill should you learn right now. You have this focus card and this openness card. So I think that like focusing on being open is really what this is saying. You even have the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles can represent holding on too tightly to certain beliefs and things like that. And this is absolutely a skill, like learning how to be open, or, kind of looking at other people's points of view on things. You have the Dolphin Spirit says this and that are true. I see a lot of this. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of this, but, for example, like Taurus gets this a lot. And so, and by the way, you and Taurus are both ruled by Mercury or by Venus. So, that it kind of makes sense that you two would get this type of message so much. Well, I don't know why it makes sense, but I'm just saying because you're ruled by the same planet, basically, again, it kind of makes sense to me. But I think that just this allows for flexibility. I also feel like what this is saying, the this and that are true thing. It's like I feel like this reading, the first two rows in that like Four of Pentacles there are saying that there are certain things that you would never believe are possible for you, that you could accomplish. Obviously, you're gonna have to put the work in. Nothing just magically happens. But I feel like what this is saying is it's like saying if you can work on your mindset, right? And if you can kind of like let go of maybe some of the blockages that you have, or some of the things that you're holding on to, or whatever the case may be. And again, this is not a criticism. We all do this, right? Even me. So I'm far from perfect, trust me. But what I would say here is that if we could let go of some of those things, we would actually kind of open up to a whole new world. You have the World card as your last card. And I kind of feel like this is saying that challenging certain beliefs that you don't believe are true, is like would be a good thing for you. It kind of reminds me of like, I teach this a couple of different groups for YouTube, and it's like sometimes someone will say something in the group, like in one of the groups about something. Like I was thinking the other day, someone said something about like Facebook advertising, and they were like, oh, you can't advertise on Facebook anymore because there's no way to make money. But it's like I know like 10 people that make an absolute fortune with Facebook advertising, like right now. And so it's just like funny to me. People will like hear a person say something like, oh, Facebook advertising doesn't work anymore, and then they just all believe it, right? And then nobody tries it. But really, it's like a huge missed opportunity because it's really cheap right now because Facebook is going down the tubes, right? So the advertising is cheap. So there's like a huge opportunity to get cheap advertising. That's just like an example that I'm giving you here. I'm not saying you should advertise on Facebook, right? But what I'm saying is that this, I feel, is kind of representing one of those beliefs where it's like someone said something to you when you were a child and now you've always believed it, or something happened to you and you just developed a belief, like whatever it is. I think that some like deep introspective work could help you maybe work through the belief, or could get you to understand that there's actually a big opportunity in something that you believe. And that's kind of the energy you get there. You have the Justice card. I feel like this is just you kind of like being willing to learn a skill. So I like this here, Libra. I feel like it's saying that you are open to developing a new focus. You have that focus card. And I feel like this is saying it's like, yeah, you have the this and that are true card as well. It's like saying both people are right. It's like obviously that person that said Facebook marketing or advertising doesn't work. It's like maybe it probably wouldn't work for them, right? So maybe it's true. But for people that do get it to work, it works for them as well. So I think this is saying that you need to weigh up your options. Like, what do you want the truth to be is what I feel the Justice card is saying. You have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. Four of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, these are all cards of needing, not so much the King of Pentacles, but kind of needing to release the past and needing to let go of something. And so maybe that's a skill that you need to learn, is like getting better at releasing things or letting go of things, right? So let's see. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Swords, victory, definitely victory here, and a card of focus. To me, the Ace of Swords is laser-like focus, picking a focus and sticking to it and making it happen. And, with this, you have so many cards that were kind of tied into this. The Magician here, all about reinventing yourself, the Ouroboros card there, the Sea Serpent. So I think that there's a lot going on with like what world you choose to focus on. And I would choose to focus on the world that you want, right? With the Justice card, you have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, not so fast, Libra, is what this card is saying. It's like saying, don't just skim over something. If something stands out to you and you think that there's this new idea and you're like, oh, that could work, but then someone tells you, oh, this isn't going to work, I feel like this is saying, no, slow down and learn about whatever it is. Because, again, it's kind of weird how this row is popping to my head, obviously, if you can't tell. But I feel like this row is almost saying this could also be a new opportunity that's coming in for you, where it's like something kind of captures your attention, like an idea or a certain way of doing things. But I also feel that there is that little voice in the back of your head that's like, no, this won't work. Or, there's like a person that says this won't work, and it kind of like, changes your brain. And I feel like this is saying like, no, learn about it. You don't have to commit to anything, right? But I always think that it's worth learning about something, even if we don't commit to the belief. And I feel like you educating yourself on something here, like an opportunity or, some sort of plan that, it could be your truth with that, this and that are true card. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Four of Swords. Yeah, learning how to heal the past could also be a good skill for you to learn. Again, I think this is more about kind of releasing the past. The Four of Swords would also be about seeing the blessing in what you went through. Normally on the Four of Swords, there's a person blessing another person in the stained glass window. So it kind of says that, you will receive a blessing in learning to walk away. Next in the area of what are we doing? What breakthrough are you closest to, but also farthest away from? I don't know about you, but like I'm the type of person, something could be right in front of my face. I don't see it. So that's what we're talking about here. You have this work through your fears card and this surrender to the divine card. So kind of similar to what we've been talking about this whole time, working through your fears. It's like sometimes I do feel that beliefs are a comfort zone. Like we believe that, that we only should make $50,000 a year or something like that. It's like $50,000 a year might be comfortable to us in a certain way because maybe that's the comfort zone we developed for whatever reason, and maybe part of us is afraid of that if we make a certain amount of money that we'll lose it all to taxes, or maybe we believe that rich people are evil or whatever the case may be. And so I feel like this is saying like working through those things will help you break those barriers. And I feel like that the surrender to the divine card, the whole entire reading has this little thread running through it, all about trusting your intuition, which I feel you need to do right now. You have the Emperor, the Three of Wands in the world. The Emperor is about taking control and making something happen. So you always get the Emperor with me, I'm pretty sure, in most of your readings, because I'm always saying Aries, and you're always getting pissed off at me, Libra, right? But I don't think this is necessarily a person. I think this is more about you taking control of your life and like the breakthrough that you want to have. I think it would be a great time for you to, just take a little bit of time for yourself and maybe really think about what you want, not what would make other people happy. That's kind of the energy I get here. And so I think that just, maybe like taking some time to meditate or journal or drive around in your car and just think about what you want would be very beneficial. You have the Three of Wands here. Three of Wands is about taking you to a strange land, He's looking out at the water here, and there are these boats on the water, and the boats are actually pointing out of the harbor. So everybody reads the Three of Wands as your ship's coming in, but really they're pointing out. And so I feel that there could be an opportunity for you to do something unusual or different in your life, and I would get on those boats here, Libra. I think it will be really, really good for you. And then you end with the World, which would be about like opening up to the world or getting out into the world, which could lead to a major accomplishment. So there's actually, out of all the readings I've done, there's like not much for you to do, I feel, to have a breakthrough. I do feel like you have to, again, we could say that the story of the Three of Wands is he's looking at that water, but he thinks it's the desert because the water is golden in color. So when he looks closer, he sees the ships and he realizes it's water. So there is, again, the whole entire reading has this idea or this story that you are, this and that are true. It's like, he could believe that it's a desert and he could just walk away, or he could believe that there's an opportunity where he is. With the Emperor, you have the Two of Cups here. Don't hate me here, Libra. It could just be a person who has Aries in their chart. So, don't get too excited, but there definitely could be love there. With the Three of Wands, you have the Three of Wands. Yet whenever a card repeats itself on itself, it's basically the universe saying, I meant what I said. It's like you are looking at an opportunity. Your beliefs about it will determine the truth. And with the World, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is about resourcefulness and using your resources to be successful. So I think it would be a great time for you to be resourceful. You get this card with me a lot as well, I'm pretty sure. The Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. You only have the Queen of Pentacles in this reading, but I think it would be a great time for you to tap into your resources. My ear is ringing now, so there you go. But this looks pretty good. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month. If you like this type of reading, let me know down below. If you have any ridiculous questions you want me to answer in a future ridiculous question reading, let me know down below.